We should probably do the show.
Hey, let's do the show, Dan.
Because I have to finish up with under 2 hours and 45 minutes. So
okay,
so I got to go to the post office before 5. Okay. 2 hours and 45. That's maximum.
That is, you got to mail stuff. You got to go.
This show can only be 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
It's too bad we're talking about Venom 3 because this could be a big one.
We'll have to split it in half. Venom 3 Part 1, Venom 3 Part 2. 14 and a half hours.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. I am Dan.
I am Tony.
On this show, we watch movies. We talk about movies that we watched. We talk about a movie that we have both watched. Who does
January 1st. This is going to go really well.
Who is? Oh, yeah. Happy New Year.
A Happy New Year, everybody.
Who does
2025.
2025. That's a double nickel on the dimes.
I can't believe it. Quarter century.
Who picked this one? Or who is considered to have picked this one?
Technically you. Because
technically
I technically did Red 1 and then you Venom. But, you know, those were general consensus picks.
Thanks for spoiling this movie.
Oh, sorry.
We watched Venom 3, The Last Dance. I didn't think about the title of the movie until after I'd watched the movie, and then I'm like,
oh, I see.
Okay.
I did the opposite. I was like, oh, no, someone's going to die. I can't believe this. Yeah.
Tony, was this a movie?
Was this a movie? This was for the first hour, the most fun we've ever had with a Venom movie.
Oh, wow. Listen to you.
The final, I don't know. How long was this movie? An hour 45? 2 hours?
They say this movie's an hour and 49, but it stopped.
But there was a ton of credits.
About hour 32, hour 34.
Okay, that's
it
what
just
I
sort
thought.
of ended.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess there's not a third act in this movie.
No, definitely not. So the last 30 minutes, I don't even know what happened. I don't get it. It's nothing. It's a ball of nothing for the last 30. But the first 45 minutes, I think, were a ton of fun. I think they finally found their groove.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? Are you kidding me? We had some great one-liners in the first 45 minutes. I mean, I wrote down 3 of them. That's pretty good. Now, let me be very clear. I don't remember the first 2.
No,
and we've done them.
No one can
at some point, but I don't remember anything about them. What happened, and the small clips that we see in this movie as he reminisces, I don't remember them. They look like brand new footage to me. I have no idea.
Well, most of the reminiscent footage was footage from this movie.
Most of it, but there were like little ones cut in there where I was like, well, he looks 10 years younger, so that's got to be a different movie, but I don't remember that.
We watched both movies last year, and what's interesting, at one point he says, we've been linked together for 1 year. So he did
say that. Yeah.
Ostensibly, all the stuff that occurred within these 3 movies, 1 year.
Which is a pretty quick turnaround when you think of how big these events would have technically been. They closed down Area 51? What is going on? I don't understand the plot of this movie. That's
why I was questioning whether or not this was a movie.
But they finally figured out how to really have a good time with this relationship. The Venom character is sillier by at least 3 times as much than he was in the last 2 movies. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah,
very different character.
Right. Okay. And this is the right one for the vibe of the movie. This is the right one. And I kudos to them for figuring it out.
Now, because I was reading the general reviews of the superhero movies of the last year. You know, everyone's kicking in. The Marvel nerds, they liked Killraven. Yeah. Wait, what's his name? Craven.
Okay.
They like.
You're talking about a different movie entirely. I see. Yes.
I'm running down. They liked.
Got it.
Craven the Hunter.
Really?
They all hated Madam Web more than anything.
Yeah, sure.
they also seem to have liked this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun for a while, and then it's not as fun for the end of it, and then it just stops. And then I was like going through the credit scenes, and then there's nothing. There's 2 of them, I think, but neither of them were any good at all.
Oh, I only watched the Null one. There's another
also
one.
Then Danny Rojas comes back. What's his? I feel bad not knowing his real name.
Danny Rojas.
He's the bartender
at the beginning.
Yeah, he's from Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay.
Danny Rojas. That's the only way I know him. But he comes back, and let's just talk about it. I don't even know what's going on. He walks out of a cave, and the earth looks like it's been destroyed, and he's just walking through the ashes of the world or something. So maybe Null come and blows up the world. I don't know, Dan. I have absolutely no idea.
There's a villain in this movie called Null who.
Are you sure?
Just shows up on some scenes where he's on his prison planet and says, "I'm gonna get you, or I'm gonna send monsters."
And yet he's still imprisoned for the whole movie. That's a weird villain to have.
How are they ever going to deal with, it's like at a certain point in this movie, I look at Venom and I'm like, the only thing that made those other Venom movies interesting is that Venom wants to kill everyone, and Eddie would rather he didn't kill everyone.
Not even, I like that you phrase it, because it's not even that he's against it. He's just kind of like, we probably shouldn't. Like, maybe we don't kill everybody. Just a thought.
Yeah. And so this movie, they've sort of come to a consensus that they're going to kind of kill bad people generally.
Right.
And by the end, Eddie and Venom are best friends, BFFs.
I mean, are they?
That.
Because
he says that.
Sure, I say a lot of things that I don't truly mean, Dan. I don't know what to tell you. Here's how I measure a friendship. While Eddie is watching Venom slowly die, he doesn't care at all. This is the amount of his emotion. Are you ready for this? It goes like this. No. That's it. End scene. That's a wrap. Great job, Tom Hardy. Way to go. Awesome.
Now this movie, basically what we learned through this movie, we'll talk about it deeper, is that there's this thing called the Codex that was created when Venom brought Eddie back to life, which I guess happened in one of the movies.
I'm sure that it did. I don't remember it.
I don't think it happened in this movie.
No, it did not happen in this. I would have remembered that, Dan. All right? Let's give ourselves a little credit.
And so basically the bad guy can come to the planet and destroy the planet if the bad guy can get a hold of the Codex. The Codex is not a book, which is, of course, what a Codex is, but it's like something sort of locked into the DNA of the symbiote and the human being, right? So
which doesn't even make sense. Let me just say what I don't. They call it the Codex
because there's only one.
But there's only one because he's the only symbiote that has done this necessary thing, which is bring your human back to life, which creates a codex. Any of them could do it. So, they should call it a codex, maybe. The codex is very confusing because it makes it sound like it's one intangible thing. It is. I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
Very confusing, very stupid. Very confusing and very stupid. Very confusing and very stupid. Let's see.
Just come up with a different name,
in the comic books, it's they say that it's symbiote codices refer to both the trace amounts of the living abyss left in the bodies of symbiote hosts, with the greatest concentrations being found in the host's spinal cord. So yes, so it's definitely a thing that can occur. And so basically the bad guy can destroy Earth if the bad guy can get Venom while they're symbioted up. And so what you really want to say is the only way for the Codex to go away is for one of them to die.
Right.
So that should be the central issue with the movie.
But it's not. And let me tell you how I know it's not. Because there are dozens to maybe 100 people that die in this movie. and killing Eddie and Venom doesn't ever really seem to play a part. There's one moment where the army guys are like, well, we're going to kill him. And then they just change their minds once all hell breaks loose. And then they watch hundreds of people die in this fight. And no one is like, can we just shoot these guys yet, please? Just end this thing? Nobody cares. Nobody, and Eddie doesn't care. He's not like, oh, wow, look at all of these people that are dying. I could stop it by dying myself. Never once crosses his mind. Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah. So I think you could have made some amount of tension in the movie if you'd have actually made that something that someone considered at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they should consider it. You know, like Eddie and Venom should probably be the ones that are like, is all of this worth it just for our lives, which mean basically nothing? Probably not. Probably not. And I mean, this is a great moment to bring up, you know, the Spock, save the universe. And we could have had a nice emotional dilemma in the movie, between
these two, which were supposed to be, these two are supposed to be becoming best friends. And they're supposed to have kind of worked things out.
Right, sure. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And that it would have been interesting if we started out the movie with the two of them feeling like they'd work things out, and then it's sort of falling apart based on this codex thing, and then them coming to because at the end, spoilers, Venom sacrifices himself.
But not for everybody else. Just kind of for Eddie, really. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the fact that one of them has to die almost.
I mean, there you go. I mean, that should have been an emotional thing. If Venom's like, Eddie, I love you. I will make the ultimate sacrifice. Right? I mean, he could have said all those things, right? Couldn't he?
He could have said those things, but instead he said some other things that didn't really make a ton of sense. And they were like, we're the Punisher. I don't remember what they said. We're supposed to be the lethal enforcer or something. He's like, yes, that's what this is. What does that mean? And then he goes off and he slimes himself. I don't know, Dan. The last half hour of this movie doesn't make a lot of sense.
Venom Last Dance. We start on Venom World. I think it's Venom World. Maybe it's not Venom World. Maybe it's
not Venom World. He says it's not Venom World. Prison. Something like that.
Clintar, the prison world.
Yeah, there you go.
Clintar, the prison world, where the bad guy Null, who I only know of because he's in Marvel Snap,
and he is one of my favorite characters in Marvel Snap because he's awesome.
Great card. So then he lives on this planet with all these xenophages, which the xenophages can just easily eat venom creatures.
Yeah, grind them up. They just is it eating? Because they grind them up, and then it seems like a mist comes out of the back of the head, so it's more like a wood chipper.
I don't know. I thought at that point that thing was trying to blow out the back of his head. I thought that's what was happening with that mist.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, this movie's weird. I don't know.
So he wants to destroy all the planets, and he senses this codex, I think, and so he opens these portals and sends his minions. Seems like he has a whole planet load of minions, and he could send thousands and thousands and thousands of them, because they also regenerate, don't they?
Or just one. Yeah, I think one is a good place to start. Yep. You don't want to go crazy right away.
There it is. Eddie is now at a bar, and he's talking to the bartender, and the bartender's talking about Thanos, and then Eddie gets sucked through a portal, and then comes back from the portal, and something had happened. I don't understand what this portal was at all.
So this is where it would have come in handy if you remembered the last movie. So at the end of Venom 2, he gets portaled into the Spider-Verse. When it was the No Way Home, he was supposed to join Marvel. He was supposed to join like the bigger thing. So they made a scene where he jumps into that universe. So he's talking about Thanos because he's learning about the Marvel universe. And all of that, I assume, fell apart. So they were like, how do we get out? Let's just write it where he just teleports right back, because who gives a shit at this point? So he's like in his own Spider-Man universe.
Don't they need to tell the audience that's watching this movie what just happened?
Well, if you saw the end of the second one, you would, because that happens at the end of the second one. He portals to that bar at the end of the second one, and then he's like, oh wow, I'm in the Marvel universe. And then they just were like 5 minutes later zip him back because he was not used in the Marvel universe, so it was unnecessary. So it's more of it's basically just a little retcon. I think that's pretty much.
So it's housekeeping without any explanation to the people watching the movie.
That is correct. Here's funny you mentioned that. My nephew, who turned 13 this week, he watched this movie, and this is the only one he's seen. He didn't watch Venom 1 or 2, just jumped right into Venom 3, absolutely loved it, thought it was the funniest movie he's ever seen.
There it is.
He understood it. He's the one that explained it to me. He's like, oh, well, he's in the Marvel universe and now he's in his own universe and I was like, hold on. So then I went and looked it up online and I was like, oh my God, he's right.
So when he comes back, that's a different universe than the one he started the movie in?
Yes. He starts, Eddie Brock starts the movie in the Marvel universe.
Then he gets sucked back
into his universe. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because
there it is.
Because they just never used him in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Venom destroys the whole bar, making himself a cocktail.
Tequila. Made me laugh really hard.
See, now let's talk about Venom for a second. How does Venom know all the pop culture and all the history of our planet?
Absolutely no idea. Maybe his symbiotic relationship with Eddie. Eddie knows it, so he knows it. Maybe I don't know.
It's because it's like, why would this space alien not like the idea of him wearing Crocs?
Yeah, other than it's funny. Kids think it's funny, Dan.
Kids think it's funny. Be a man, Eddie. Okay. Eddie sees the news and they're talking about how everybody's looking for Eddie because they think he killed someone, so he can't go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah, that must have happened in one of the other movies too. I didn't know that.
They're like, well, let's go to New York. Well, Eddie's like, let's go to New York City. There's a judge there that I can blackmail.
What?
So I guess that's a reference to something.
Is it? I mean, it might be, but it is it's a weird reason to go to New York. Can't you just blackmail him over the phone?
I don't know. They start walking away. Eddie talks about Venom's like, maybe from now on, I'm just going to eat all the bad guys. Let's go look for trouble. So they go look for trouble. They find some dogfighting guys and they kill them and free the dogs.
With just a ton of one-liners. I didn't write any of these ones down because I didn't realize what was happening at the time as much. But with every single death, Venom gets a one-liner. And it felt, it's good. It's nice.
This is what you like. You just want them to wreak havoc across the world. And that's fine.
Yeah, you don't want that? You don't think that's fun? I think that's pretty fun. It has to be silly because this movie is silly. I don't feel like the first two movies are silly.
No.
I think this movie has gone off the rails, and I like it. I like it more than I liked the other two, just because it's ridiculous. It's a little nutty.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and that's what the fans want. So it's like, just do more of this weird stuff.
Well, they tried to do it normal, I feel like, in the first one, and everyone was like, no, this isn't very good. So now they're like, fuck it. Let's just go crazy.
More dance scenes, more weirdness.
Yeah. I mean, he just eats these guys' heads. Bing, 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 bing. And it's hilarious.
So throughout the movie, there's always surveillance cameras telling everyone where Eddie's at to go and collect him.
Right.
Now we meet General Strickland, who is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. A shady figure calls General Strickland, and then somebody shows up to talk to the barman and say, "Tell me about this guy." Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess this is kind of the reunion show of the soccer TV show.
Ted Lasso, yeah. Because Keely Jones is also in the movie.
Yes,
that's her name on the show. I don't know her real name.
Juno Temple.
Thank you.
I wrote blonde with red on neck twin. Okay, now we have Dr. Payne, who's played by Juno Temple.
Right.
I love her. She was great in Fargo. She's terrible in this.
Let me ask you a question, because I have not watched Fargo. Is she speaking with an American accent in Fargo?
Yeah. Minnesota accent.
Okay.
Well, not American, Minnesota accent.
First of all, how dare you? That's about as American as it gets, you betcha. Because I thought maybe that's what was going on, is maybe she wasn't quite getting the accent, because every word she says sounds false. I didn't believe her as a human for like the whole movie.
Because she's not given lines that a human would say. Okay. She does not have motivation that a human would have.
Well, no, she does not.
Her and like the other woman that worked there,
Christmas?
Professor
Did they call her Christmas?
Yeah, her name's Christmas. Professor Christmas.
That's so stupid.
And Chiwetel Ejiofor, who's a great actor.
He is.
Everything the three of them do just rings false, because they don't.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
None of them believe. Christmas face acts it fine.
Sure.
But the words coming out, no one believes anything.
Hollow. Yeah.
And it just, because it's stupid. They're like, we think these aliens are good, even though we've seen all the destruction they do and how the horror that they do. But they're probably good people inside. I think so.
Right. Doesn't make any sense.
That's not how scientists, you can have the scientists want to exploit them.
Because that's what we do.
That's what scientists always do.
Yeah. Like we would love to get them in cages and study them.
Yes.
That's what we would do. You don't have to pretend it's because we think they're like friendly alien. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't make any sense. And then she has some backstory with a twin brother who dies by lightning, and she lives.
Her arm hurts. What's happening?
Something is in her or something.
I don't know. I don't know, Dan. At one point, one of the other non-Venom symbiotes is like, "You're not whole either," and then she grabs her arm, and I was like, "Does she have a metal arm?" I didn't understand that, and then I don't know, Dan. I have no idea. I feel like there must be something in the comics that we did not understand.
Yeah, these people read the comics and they expect, it's like everyone knows that Spider-Man's Uncle Ben got shot and, he didn't protect his Uncle Ben. And so now he's got to be a good guy 24/7 and doesn't want to make money with Spider-Man. Everybody knows that because these are the legends, Superman comes from Krypton. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
The Venom lore, none of us know any of this Venom lore.
I know absolutely nothing about it. Nope.
So
not at all.
Expecting us to understand what is happening with these minor characters, you're out of your mind. Boom, boom, boom. His lightning, they have the secret base. Somebody's on life support. I don't know what that's about. That lady in a lady. Okay, so she drives to the Area 51, which is shutting down. She's Dr. Who's the blonde? I guess that was her. And now General Strickland comes in, and we watch him very specifically walk up to this thing, type on this pad, and then acid is released and destroys something. And I'm just like, why are we seeing this?
Foreshadowing, Dan. Because if you just saw it in the last act of this movie, you'd be like, what the hell is going on? But now you get to see it right away, and you're like, what the hell's going on? But by the time you get to that other scene, you're like, okay, all right. I guess it's there. I don't know. It's fine.
Now, was Venom watching the movie along with us so that he knows where the trap is?
Well, he knows everything. Yeah.
Okay, Venom knows
because
everything.
He leads them directly to the, what did they call it? The kill zone or something. I don't know.
So it turns out they're closing Area 51, but under Area 51 is Area 55, where they study the Venoms. They go down in the secret elevator. We contain them. We study them. Sadie is a scientist with shoes, ? I wrote something about her shoes. They show us her shoes very specifically.
Yeah.
Reason
shoes hit a couple times in this movie. I don't really get any of them.
And now they talk to Stephen Graham, who is one of the symbiotes, and they really act like we should know what he's talking about.
What, you don't?
I have no idea.
You're such a noob, Dan.
And I guess he was in one of the other movies and knew Eddie, maybe in the first movie.
Well, so this is the guy that they're saying that he killed, I think, right?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know nothing. We probably should have we should have waited to do the first two until this one came out and then done them all back to back. Maybe that would have been better.
You should have watched the other two in preparation for this one. So
maybe you should have done it. Maybe you should do your homework. Jeez Louise.
That is never happening. Now we see that Eddie's trying to get to New York City, and how's he going to get there? By hanging on the side of a plane.
And this is my favorite moment in the movie.
Okay, well, why don't you explain to us why it's your favorite moment in the movie?
He's hanging on the side of an airplane with his Venom hands. Yep. And Eddie is Eddie face, so it's got Eddie mind, and he's just complaining about how bad it is on the side of a plane, which is all fun. And then he gets the fun line about how does Tom Cruise do this? And Venom comes back with a banger. He doesn't whine like a little bitch, and I laughed really hard. I thought that was wonderful.
Oh, because Tom Cruise is always hanging off of planes or hanging in planes.
Well, he just did it one time, I think, for that Mission Impossible, and everyone was like, this is the greatest stunt of all time. So they just thought that they should show how cool their movie is by referencing another movie that's way cooler.
Because in the 1 year that Venom's been here, he's gone to see that movie.
If he's going to see any movies, it better be Mission Impossible. What a series.
Next year, the final one coming out.
I know. I don't know how I feel about that.
As long as what's-her-name's in it, I'll watch it.
Which one? Ferguson?
Yeah, of course.
Is that? Yeah,
the other one was fine, but it's not Rebecca.
Yeah, sure.
So, boom, one of the xenophages appears on the plane, and they fight, and then they throw it in. They throw it in the engine, and then he jumps off, and Venom turns into a parachute.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me how great that was.
I mean, it was really great, Dan. It was really great. I don't understand the Venom powers. It feels like he can do almost anything.
He can shoot tentacles any length, any amount, any direction.
It has nothing to do with any sort of I don't know. It's wild stuff. It's great. It's great to watch. It's really fun.
He can be as big as he wants, as small as he wants. He can probably be the size of a pea. He can,
if you want,
he can shoot his head out and talk to him, or not shoot the head out. Anything. No,
I don't read any Venom comics. I assume in the comics he's not doing that, right? He doesn't. His head doesn't come out and float, does it?
I only read the very beginning where we get the black suit and it turns out to be the thing. Then he has to get rid of it. And then I don't know that I read when Eddie took over the symbiote. Okay. I might have read one or two of those, but the Venom lore has been growing for 20 years or something. It's a character that
tangentially for sure, because I just don't feel like people care.
I mean, people like the character, but I don't know that people care about the lore of Venom.
Yeah.
Poor Venom.
Poor Venom.
You want to talk about the Van family?
The one thing I do want to talk about the Van family is they hit on something that happens throughout this movie, which is people just telling you what they've done previous to this moment in their lives up until this film. There's a lot of just lines of exposition when you first meet people, because they're like, well, we don't want to actually give people real stories or characters. It's just tell us what you did the last few weeks and then we'll just move on with the scene. And this family is just talking to themselves, who know all of this information about how that's why we sold all their stuff and got in this van and went on this road trip, honey, to see aliens. Well, you're mid-road trip. Why would you be talking about the road trip you're already in the middle of?
Hey, Dad, what are we doing? Well, right. Need I reiterate? I've sold everything, and this is our life now.
It's just so funny.
Hippie mom.
Yeah.
Slightly disaffected female daughter, and then wide-eyed small child that we really don't know who he is, and we really don't care.
Well, he's afraid of aliens, sort of. That's what we learn.
Eddie lands, and then we get one joke that I was like, that I enjoyed is Venom says to him, "Engage your core."
Okay. He has a lot of silly things that he says, and I really enjoyed it.
And now we set up the whole thing. If you die, I can bring you back, and then we merge to form when you died.
Yeah.
Then we got the codex. They can read the codex when we merge. So now I can't fully merge with you, except maybe when we want to do a dance in Vegas and other random times that make no sense, and I'll just decide to merge for no reason.
It is ridiculous how many times he changes into Venom for no reason at all.
And then he's like, "Here's a horse. I'm going to just take over the horse." So he can just take over anything he wants anyways.
For a certain amount of time, I think that was the lore that they set up, is that the reason why him and Eddie can stay together is because they work, the symbiote, they work, symbiotic. But he can take over other things, but slowly kills them or something like that. I don't remember. But this is one of my other favorite parts of the movie, Dan, when he takes over the horse.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Horsey, good horsey, surprise horsey," as he takes over. It's so stupid. I loved it. I just, this is what I just wanted throughout all three movies. It just be as ridiculous as you want, because your movie sucks. I'm just going to say it right now. You don't have a good movie. None of the three are good. So you might as well have some fun. And I feel like this is the most fun I've had with Venom for the first 30 to 45 minutes of this movie.
There was one scene, I think, in the last one where they're in the apartment, where that was the one scene that I was like,
they're cooking or something and
maybe
throwing stuff around.
There's a lot of throwing around in an apartment, and I remember enjoying that one. This one, it's mostly like battles, and it's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, and they're playing Queen "Don't Stop Me Now" while the horse is running.
Stop me. At that time.
At the end of the movie, in the credits, they have all these different, montages of Venom, as an elephant and all these. And at one point, they have Venom as a penguin, which I thought was kind of funny.
Adorable.
It's a little adorable, a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're set up. We know what the codex is. We're running away from the xenophages. Okay. Back at the lab, they talk to what's his name some more, and he's all like, "Are you running or migrating?" They're all like, "Oh, maybe they're just the stupid scientists are like, well, maybe they're just here to migrate and be our friends." And then the general's like, "Yeah, right. Find me.
This
find
is
me
a
that
stupid
race.
thing to say."
That's never going to happen. So they figure out where he is. And they take the Osprey, which is one, vertical takeoff and landing. This scene was the one that killed. This one killed me.
Okay.
So the Osprey is there flying.
Right.
We lower these 4 guys down on ropes. No, 6 guys. 6 guys on ropes.
Yeah, 3 on each side.
And then they're like, their mission is to capture Venom, kill Eddie. Kill Eddie. Kill him.
Yeah.
So they're like flying over there. Eddie goes they go into the river, and then they all push a button, and then stuff goes into scuba gear.
Yep.
Like magic. Magic scuba gear appears. Then they all drop off at the exact same time. All 6 of them.
Yeah.
Ploosh.
Coordinated attack. Yeah.
Venom is swimming. Swim, Venom. Eddie is swimming, I guess.
He's kind of caught in the stream, yeah.
Eddie, somehow the 6 of them don't act as a team. They have there's one and then another one 1,000 feet behind, another one 1,000 feet behind.
So that's where I get confused, because they all drop visually at the same time. But they all end up in wildly different parts of this river.
Really?
I am very confused by that.
Yeah. So one attacks him, and Eddie defeats him and pulls off his thing. Another attacks Eddie, and Eddie wrestles his gun away and kills him.
It was a her, but yes.
Oh, it's a woman. It's an African-American
I think that one was a woman. It looked like a woman.
It was an African-American woman. You're correct.
Yeah. Yeah, he just shoots her. Yep.
What is Eddie?
What do you mean? He's just like a guy.
And he defeated the greatest fighting person that exists easily.
Yeah. Well, he's watched Venom kill people, so he's probably picked up a few tricks. He didn't really do anything. He literally just turned the gun around and shot her. So it's not like he had to do a whole lot of training for that.
Oh, and it was a woman, so he would be stronger than a woman.
Eddie. It's dumb. It is a terrible scene, except when Venom takes over a fish and does like a jump out of the water as a Venom fish, and then he takes over a little frog.
The frog was very cool.
It was great. They didn't do anything. There was no reason for this to happen, but I loved it.
And the Xenophage shows up and eats all the soldiers.
Yeah, at the end there. Yeah, it's too bad. It's really too bad. And then what's confusing is the general guy makes a phone call and he says, 3 of my people just died. Yeah. Why does he say 6 people died? They're all dead. He specifically said 3, and I didn't quite understand that. Because later he says, I watched my people die, and it's more generic, which is the right move to do. But in this scene, he says 3 of my men just died. I was very confused.
Maybe it was originally 3 guys hanging from the thing, and then they just
doubled it. They just added another 3 on the other side.
Give me another 3. Why not?
Yeah, it'll look cooler.
More exciting. And Eddie and Venom, they just walk away. They just walk away.
Well, they swim away for a little bit, and then they walk away. Yeah.
They just walk away.
Yeah, they're fine. The chopper takes off, because they're like, oh, no, we lost some people. We better get out of here.
Talk to me about the military. Is 6 people, is that all they have?
Yeah, I think that's all you can take. There's a limit on missions, I believe, the last time I heard.
Back at the lab, the symbiote then explains to all the scientists about the Kodak, and I think he wants them to kill Venom.
I think one of them. He can't. I don't feel like he can want them to kill Venom because later he protects Venom. So maybe he's advocating to kill Eddie?
I don't know. He meets the hippies in the van. They give him food. He can't take food, so he refuses food, but he can eat chocolate. Because he can't eat normal food, right? But he can eat chocolate?
Yeah, I don't know, Dan. I really don't know.
We did a whole thing where it's like he throws up any normal food, but I guess he can eat chocolate and can drink booze and get drunk?
I guess. That's what this movie's telling me for sure.
Yeah. They talk about aliens. They go on the road. They do a song. They do ground control to Major Tom.
This is a great moment. I loved this whole scene, Dan. You didn't like it? I thought it was so funny.
Oh, no, I hated everything about the family. I did not care about them.
When Venom's like, this is my jam. It's so funny. And he's just singing ground control. It's fun. It's funny, Dan. You're wrong. It's funny. Doesn't make any sense, but it's funny.
I don't like movies where there's a character in somebody's head.
Sure.
And so you're like, oh, okay, this is all in the head. Oh, now he speaks. It's like the 2 separate things, and it just seems so messy and so doesn't work well on camera for me. In a movie. For me. Doesn't do much.
Sure. Well, then you really aren't going to like these 3 movies, Stan, because that's the whole thing. That's the whole bit.
They fall asleep. The kid wakes up, gives them the candy bar. The kid talks about being afraid of aliens, and then Venom's like, aliens aren't real.
Where did the kid get a candy bar?
Vending machine?
But why would he have money? Do hippie kids have money? That's a real question.
Well, they probably panhandle, so the kid probably kept a little on the side for himself.
All right. Singing on the corner, getting money in his hat, just slips it in. Okay.
It's called busking.
Busking.
Great.
You know what? I also learned that from Ted Lasso.
See, there you go, Ted Lasso. And then as Eddie sees Venom sees his interaction with the kid, and he says, "You would make a great dad,"
which is a weird thing. I don't totally get it. Also, where is Michelle Williams? We talked about this last week that we were hoping she was in this movie. I don't remember what happened. Clearly something bad happened between them because she is not in this movie at all. Even mentioned.
She turned into Lady Venom, right?
I do not remember.
Oh, I don't remember anything. She absolutely transformed into Lady Venom, I think at the end of movie 1.
Okay.
Or maybe at the end of movie 2. I don't know. Was she in movie 2?
I don't know. I don't know. I thought so. I thought she was in both. I don't know.
And then Venom says, "I am glad we did not eat this very nice family."
See, a fun little button on the scene.
They arrive in Vegas to fireworks. They say their goodbyes. They drop off Eddie on the side of the road. Venom talks about wanting to see the Statue of Liberty, also wants to see a Broadway show. Venom is like, "I am like Rain Man. I can win at gambling." They go up to the thing. Bouncer throws him out because Eddie looks like a freaking homeless dude.
Yeah.
Eddie then knocks out the bouncer for an unknowable reason. Then he goes across the street and there's a guy peeing on the side of a building in front of everyone, but invisible to everyone.
Yeah.
Guy turns around, pees on Eddie's shoes, which he got from the hippies. They gave him a new pair of shoes because he was missing one shoe. He knocks this guy out, and now Eddie's in a perfectly fitted tuxedo.
Yeah, he looks great. Looks wonderful. I mean, how lucky that the one person you saw and knocked out just happened to be the perfect size. I love it.
Would not happen for you or I.
Definitely not me.
He goes back to the casino and says, "The guy that did that to that guy is passed out over there. He's drunk." So actually a line that sort of settles the thing. I was like, wow.
Sure, it settles it and just makes them, terrible people because that guy didn't do anything other than pee on something.
Talk about the gambling scene, Tony.
I love this scene. So he sits down at a slot.
This scene is so weird. This is the weirdest scene. Yeah, I think
this can't be the weirdest scene.
This scene is so weird.
This scene perfectly describes how I feel in Vegas. You know what I mean? You sit down, you start wasting money, and you can't get it. You know you're losing, but you can't get up. You love the feeling. It's exhilarating. And he's like, "What is this feeling inside?" It's like, "All my problems have disappeared." It's just like, this is gambling addiction. This is exactly right. Good job, everybody. They really nailed that on the head. What I don't understand is what happens next.
Hold on a second. See,
okay, talk about your scene.
This is what's going on here. You and I have both seen very different scenes.
Okay.
You've been listening to the funny jokes that Venom tells and being like, Venom's being funny. This is
Venom's saying some zingers.
This is what I see.
Yeah, I mean that's
it is the world's. It's the same in the bartending scene. It's just this weird motion that I'm just like, and there's reaction shots. People just like looking over because he's just
kind of flailing weird. Yeah.
It's. Why is he doing? Venom's not in charge of his body. He should just be Eddie pulling the thing down.
I think he is. Sort of. That's the thing that you're not getting is that he kind of is sometimes when he wants to, even if he's not slightly transformed, he can kind of do it sometimes, The rules are a little wishy-washy, but you just got to listen to the things Venom says, and then you don't care about what's happening on screen because you're like, that's funny. That's a good little joke.
Did you write down his final line when he's lost all his money?
No, I didn't. What is it?
Lady Luck is a fickle slut.
See, that's funny.
You're just like, what is this movie? If you wrote a movie and put this stuff in there, I might like it, but there's not when we meet the weird sad, if it was just like if it was about this family in some way. But once you have all that dumb scientist and Null and all these big things, you're just like, I don't care about any of that.
Well, let me sum up the writing of this movie. I forgot to say this because I wrote this down specifically to be like, this is the level of writing you're dealing with in this movie.
Okay.
When Eddie meets the family, the daughter, who is obviously, slightly gothy, kind of like she's, got the dark hair. She's in, she says, where is this? Oh, yeah. She says, and I quote, "He looks like one of those serial killers from my favorite murder podcast."
Yeah.
That's the exact line. From my favorite murder podcast. One. Murder podcast, it's podcasts. You don't see the killers in the like, that's not the way podcasts work, first of all. So you wouldn't say he looks just like one of them. That's not how that works.
You don't look like somebody from a podcast.
You don't look like someone from a podcast where they're talking about something else. But more importantly, my favorite murder podcast, the most generic line of all time. You couldn't even come up with a name of a fake one that could be fun, or just say a real one. There's lots of big real ones, but my favorite murder podcast. I'm a child. So dumb. It's so bad. It's ridiculous.
And that's your meat. Those are your jokes. That's your fun.
They sure should be. Yeah.
And it's like when you write that, I in one of the Space Duck ones, I have them. They're playing a Dance Dance Revolution game.
That's a great call. Yeah.
And it's called Dance Your Face Off.
Do they dance their faces off?
They dance their faces off because they're zombies. And the harder you dance and the more mistakes you make, your arms and your stuff falls off.
I love it.
So you write a line and then you write the jokes that go with the line and you evoke an image as opposed to, she looks like the guy from my favorite murder podcast, which is like just a worthless line. You've put a worthless line.
Let me pitch a rewrite to you, Dan, for your Space Duck. Instead of everything you just said, what if they just say, "That's my favorite dance game I play," and that's it, and then you move on to the next scene,
and then they don't play the game.
They don't play it at all. They never mention it again. This is good stuff, Dan. I think we fixed it.
We've given it the Hollywood treatment. The Hollywood treatment. Okay.
Oh, boy.
And then he looks over and he's like, "Hey, look over there. It's Mrs. Chen."
Now, this is obviously someone we've met before.
Mrs. Chen.
Because I don't remember her.
Mrs. Chen, I believe, ran the bodega somewhere. And I think it's and she has interacted with Venom. Venom has come out and yelled at her, I think.
And if it's the bodega lady, then I think he saved her life once because someone was robbing the bodega and then he ate somebody or something.
I think so.
That makes sense. That sounds about right. Yeah. Okay.
So she's the bodega lady. She just
happens to be in Vegas gambling in a super nice nightgown. Got it.
Yeah. So
makes perfect sense.
The general has found him in Vegas. He says, "Send the 6." And then he's like, "Instigate the Imperium program." Talk to me about the Imperium program, Tony.
How am I supposed to do that, Dan? I don't know what the fuck it is.
You mean it's almost like he does what we say you're supposed to do in the movie, and then it doesn't have to do with anything in the movie?
Correct. Yeah, that's about right. Because I don't know what it means or who it is, but the next scene, I think we see him. He's firing people. Or he's telling people that they're fired or something, right? Isn't he telling Dr. Payne, well, you don't work here anymore. You did, but you don't now. I don't know what's going on, Dan.
You're right.
I have no idea.
So Eddie and Mrs. Chen go up to the room, and now we have the sped up ABBA dance scene and then the phage attack.
What's happening? Why is he dancing with her?
Because they want to dance. Because
why?
I think they had another dance.
Did
maybe that not the two of them, but I think maybe that apartment scene maybe was a dance. I think there was another dance somewhere.
I don't know. It's real weird. In a movie that's pretty weird, this is the weirdest thing that happens for me. I don't understand. Why does she want to dance, first of all? And then why is he dancing? He goes full Venom just to dance. And then there's Eddie's voiceovers like, "When did you guys practice this?" He's not funny in the voiceovers, by the way. When it's reverse, it's not good at all.
Well,
so I don't know. I'm very confused by this scene.
Eddie's a terrible sad sack of a worthless character.
He is, and he never got better. He started that way, he ended that way in 3 movies. Never got better. It's a real bummer.
He's a dumb loser.
Yeah.
So they dance, but since he's gone full symbiote, the phage comes, but also the army guys come, and the army guys
same time
just instantaneously capture Eddie and the symbiote separately, instantaneously, without even they just
not much of a struggle.
They just pull up a vial and scoop Venom right in, and then just put knock Eddie out instantaneously.
Yeah, pretty great stuff. Why are they knocking him out? Oh, because last time they saw him, they wanted to kill him.
Because they're collecting him.
Okay.
They go back to the base. The phage, astrophage, the xenophage slips in through the thing. The van gets to Area 51. They sneak in, and then they climb a tower, and we'll spend the rest of the movie on the tower waiting for something to happen.
This is terrible parenting, just for the record. Just horrible. Sneak in through a gate, bring them up in an army. This is how you get killed. This is how you get shot as a civilian.
Where are all the people on Area 51 that they're closing?
Well, it's nighttime. They're taking a nap.
There's
no more security because they're mid-closing. It's fine.
Here we go. Eddie wakes up without Venom. He sees what's his name across from there. They talk a little bit. Dr. Payne comes and talks to Eddie. The general comes in. He's like, everybody's fired.
Yeah, this scene. It's very confusing to me.
And then it turns out that Christmas has let out Venom.
Well, hold on, because this is why I'm so confused. So he takes Eddie out of the cage and shoots him.
Yes.
Because he's like, the only reason that the thing is still coming is that they're both still alive, so I'm going to kill Eddie. Why didn't he kill Eddie in the last scene when he had Eddie dead to rights?
Because he wants to kill him to his face.
So he wants to do it. He wants to do it more personal. Okay, he's got something wrong with him. Okay,
I'm going to teach you a lesson, and you're going to feel the lesson while I'm going to look you in the eye. I want you to know
why this is happening, Eddie. I don't know. I just thought that was very strange.
So it turns out that Christmas let out Venom. Venom is on top of her, saves Ellie from the bullet, and then gets on top of Eddie. Gets into Eddie.
Gets on top. That makes it more fun.
We have a giant battle. We release the other symbiotes. They take over people. Then they fight. Then they bust outside, and so they're fighting outside. This one xenophage looks like even if you had 6 or 7 or 8 symbiotes, they couldn't defeat this thing.
Yeah, but then there are other ones that seem to die pretty easily. It's confusing. Maybe he's just better than the rest.
Yeah, so all these symbiotes are fighting. They're all getting eaten. They're all losing. They come outside. Yeah. They're battling more outside.
And there's just people dying all over the place here. And Eddie and Venom are like,
and
it's cool.
See the family up there, so they jump up there, and then they're like, well, I have to tell you the kid that aliens are real. There's more fights. There's a motorcycle. Professor Dr. Payne takes the family back to their van because that's the most important thing that needs to occur is this one family needs to be saved. Very important.
Yeah, this shitty family that broke government rules and snuck onto private land. Yeah, let's save them. No, thanks.
Better save them.
They did this to themselves.
They blow up the phages, but they don't get blown up. The general gets speared, and then...
Well, it seems like they do get blown up, but they pull themselves back together? Is that
they just
what
regenerate.
happens?
They just regenerate.
Okay, yeah.
So you can't really kill them. These are unkillable things.
Until you kill him.
Well, I mean, I don't even think the acid's going to kill him. Why would the acid kill him?
I'm pretty sure it did, Dan. I saw the end of the movie. There didn't seem to be any left.
So Eddie's there, and he's all like, oh, Venom's there, and he's like, oh, and Christmas has gotten the green. She's gotten the green one. He's like, okay, chopper blades. And so they use the chopper blades. They save the general, and then...
Which seems a little silly because he had a thing through his entire body, but it's fine.
Venom's about to get killed, but the dad has come back and he uses a missile launcher just like we all know how to use missile launchers, and he missile launches it.
Yep.
The phage eats the Christmas symbiote. Eddie is hurt. More phages poured in, so there's like 4 or 5 phages all looking for him, but then they split up, so you can't see the codex, because only when they're merged can you see the codex and know where to look.
Exactly.
Otherwise, everything's just all black and white. Eddie's hurt. Venom laments that he's never seen the Statue of Liberty, and so then he goes out there and he drags all of them across the thing to where the acid pour is, and then the general's like, "Oh, I get it." So he types in the code, but then he falls down, and then Venom has to pick him up to put his eyes up to the thing, because Venom somehow knows that hasn't occurred.
That's the answer. Yeah,
puts a magic door on top of.
I mean, this door is super magic. This is more magic than like Harrison Ford's refrigerator.
There's some acid coming down, but it's not enough acid. Venom's like, I'll never forget you, Eddie. Don't you ever forget me. Puts the door over Eddie. Bye for now. And then it all explodes. Somehow, this explosion that throws Pain.
Yeah.
I guess Pain's taken on the purple Venom.
Right.
She saves Christmas somehow. Christmas not dead.
Well, because she's like super fast. When she
is that
goes
she's
into
got
symbiote, she's like the Flash, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Must be the lightning inside of her.
And somehow this giant explosion that Eddie was literally 10 or 20 feet from, and he was just under a door. Somehow
he's got a door. He's got a door on him. You answered your own question, Dad. He's got a door on him. Not surrounding him, by the way, because it's a flat door. Either way, there's gaps underneath the door for the flames to get into, but it's fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
Luckily, it has a window so that we can see that Eddie's under the door.
See everything. Yeah.
He lives.
Oh, God. Yeah, he lives. He's fine. He's totally fine.
He's in the hospital. Some other general comes and is like, you did good things. Now, so you're free to do whatever you want. Don't worry
about it. Don't worry about all the murders we were trying to charge you with. You're good.
We expunged everything because we know you're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Eddie goes to New York City, and we get this little 3-minute montage of the good times.
The good old times. Him and Venom. Which, this whole thing could have been more emotional if Eddie Brock gave a damn about Venom, but he doesn't care about him at all. So there's not a moment like Venom's doing his best. He does the line like, "Don't forget me. It's bye for now." I was like, oh, I'm getting kind of emotional. But then we cut to Eddie Brock every time. And he's just like, I don't give a shit about you, guy. Burn in hell, Venom. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know.
You ruined my shitty life that was shitty before you showed up.
It is. He's bad. He's a dumb guy.
Who are you barking at, little dog? Little dog's
probably me.
She's
mad.
She's benerfing. And then that's the end. And we see a post-credit scene with Null, who's like, I know where your planet is, and I'm going to get out.
Right. Okay. How's he going to get out, though?
Well, because if Christmas lives, and that'll be another one of the things, the codex.
I guess. I don't know. His plan seems pretty weird. Also, are the xenophages just specifically built to find a codex if it happens to become one, if he happened to be imprisoned by one? Because they can't see shit. The only thing they can see is a codex. Is that what they were built for?
Here's my question. If you're going to imprison a guy on a planet, should you really give him an army of things that he can teleport to places to look for the key out?
And that's the only thing they can see. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a weird system. They're specifically built to find a codex. The codex is the only thing that can release him from the prison that you set up.
Yeah.
Just set up a different prison. I don't know. None of it makes any sense, Dan.
It's almost like a comic book writer wrote it down.
But not like a great one,
They put out a lot of comic books.
Yeah, they have.
There it is.
Yeah, some good ones.
And then I guess there's another scene where the dude is walking across the destroyer.
Yeah, I don't know. Danny Rojas comes out of a cave. I don't know how he got in the cave. I don't know why I don't know what's going on. And then the world just seems like it's been desecrated, and he's walking and being like, hello? I don't know. I don't get it.
This is definitely like that. What was that? Was it Alien versus Predator, the movie that they made, and then the other person made it, and then they glued it together? This doesn't feel like they, when they say, institute the Imperium Protocol. You're like, wow, that must mean something's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Like in 37 minutes, this whole place is going up. Nuclear bomb. You can say that's what an Imperium Protocol is.
Sure. No, I don't think it is, Dan.
If we don't get 10 miles away from here in the next 32 minutes, we're all going to be vaporized.
Yeah, but it's fine. Everyone's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's a door.
It's a good door. You know what I mean? It's a fancy door.
It's a powerful door.
I don't get it at all. Doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to look up who Juno Temple plays Dr. Payne here, and if there's like a
she plays Dr.
comic book equivalent.
Oh, you're trying to see if Dr. Payne? Dr. Payne's the green Venom, because they're all colors.
I don't know.
No, purple. Sorry, purple. Christmas was
purple. Yeah, purple.
Christmas
is green because she was wearing a Christmas tree.
Yeah. I want the green one because I'm wearing a Christmas tree.
It makes sense.
What color of Venom would you be?
Probably like similar to this shirt, a nice teal, because it's energy, vibrance. It's pretty.
I want to be like silver.
Silver. I bet there's definitely a silver one. There's got to be a silver one.
He could probably fit through really small things. Like keyholes and shit.
Well, yeah, keyholes. Yeah, as you need to do, just go right through it. It'll be perfect for you.
There's a question. What happens to Eddie if Venom goes through a keyhole?
Well, his bones disintegrate, Dan. That's what happens. He's a dead man. He'd come out jelly on the other side, and then Venom's like, oh.
Now, does Tom Hardy do the Venom voice?
I don't think so. And I only say that because I like the Venom voice and I don't like Tom Hardy's regular voice. So I just don't imagine him doing a voice would be better.
Oh, I hope Tom Hardy does some real movies at some point again.
Why? Was he good? I don't even remember a time where Tom Hardy could act. I've pretty much given up on it.
He did like this one British show where he's like kind of a Count of Monte Cristo where he comes back and regains his inheritance and does terrible things to people that he's mad at. That show was fun. Good. It had a name. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I'm glad it had a name. That'd be a weird show if it didn't. I don't know.
Didn't you love Bane? Don't you love Bane?
We like to make fun of Bane.
Oh, okay.
It would be very painful for you. Yeah, I mean, that's funny. I don't think I ever cared about Bane.
You didn't like...
I don't know.
Yeah, those movies are really bad.
And I don't like him in, what's the other Christopher Nolan one where he's like, you must dare to dream a little bigger, darling, and then shoot something in Inception, that stupid movie.
Oh, Inception. He was in Inception? Was he one of the lackeys? One of the lackey dudes in there?
Yeah.
Whew. Christopher Nolan.
I don't know.
He's a genius,
That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told.
Anything else to say about this?
No, I don't have an answer for you. There's a character called Thaddeus Payne.
Oh, there it is. That's
spelt totally differently, Payne instead of Paine. Yeah. But her name is Teddy Payne, so that was similar. But he's like a sadistic murderer, so that can't be right. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, gender swap him and take the sadistic murderer out, and you've got the same character.
Take away all personality, and you'll be fine. I don't know. This movie was fun. I had a good time. It doesn't make any sense, but Venom was great.
It was dopey.
And again, my nephew loves it. He thought it was hilarious. So
there it is. The comic book kids like this. That's fine. Are there worse movies that you could idolize? Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We've seen a bunch of them.
The Joker movie. Wow.
Oh, golly.
Tony, talk to us about something. You've done something. You've been traveling. You've been on multiple planes. You're probably watching all sorts of new and different things as opposed to watching the same exact Christmas movies you always watch.
Nope. We watched the same Christmas movies we always watched. But I will tell you, Dan, that I watched Red One 3 times this week. Once for us, once with my mother, and then once with my nephews. And everybody but us loved it. They all thought it was super fun. So there you go. My nephews and I quoted it for the rest of the week because all Chris Evans lines. Let's be very clear.
He had good lines. He had good lines in the movie. I'll say that.
He's good.
He's good.
He's great. You know what I mean? Like you can give him dog shit, and he can turn it into something that's at least watchable, and that's great. And I'd love to see him do more stuff that's not Marvel.
He's always entertaining, and I mean, I always say it is like Captain America was the heart and soul. Everybody likes to think that Iron Man is the soul of the Marvel Universe. He was not. Captain America was 100%.
He's not the soul, but he is the best character. So
who's the soul, Tony?
Well, no, I'm saying Captain America is the soul. I'm saying Tony Stark isn't the soul, but he is the best character.
No, Captain America's far. Captain
America is a snooze fest until the second movie.
It's the greatest
then
ever.
He's okay. The second, I mean,
Winter Soldier is.
It's so good. It's a really good movie. But
there's so much. The fight scenes in that movie they're
great. Yeah, great stuff.
I mean, the first Deadpool and then those fight scenes, those are just all the fight scenes you can watch. They're just
yeah, for sure.
People that know how, and that I think that's the problem with if you want to know what the problem with Marvel movies is, fight scenes.
Yeah, I mean they're not great. They're all CGI bullshit.
You watch the fight on the bridge that goes down, with the bus.
Yeah.
That thing feels real. Every impact feels real. It doesn't feel like you're watching a bunch of fake bullshit. You feel gun impacts. Thunderbolts.
Well, Shang-Chi was great too.
And
that's just about it. That's just those two movies, as far as I remember.
I rewatched the fight scene on the bus from Nobody.
Yeah. Yes. Intense. Yeah.
You're just like, see, this is a movie. That's why you watch this Venom. You're like, okay, funny things. But if you put something like this in the movie, you're like, there we have a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quickly, I was going to say Marvel Rivals has come out. It's free to play and it's super fun. And Venom is a great character in that game. So if you haven't given him a whirl, give him a whirl.
Is this like a game where you're like,
I'll say yes. I don't know what you do, but I'll say yes.
You smash the B button. Is that what you do?
Buttons. Well, it's not a brawl game, a side-by-side fighter, but it's kind of like Overwatch. If you ever played that, what do they call those? Arena shooters, hero shooters? I don't know, something like that. But it's all Marvel characters, and you're fighting to do different things. It's fun. It's fun, Dan. You should try it.
You play it on your phone?
No, this is too pretty for that. No, this is all the next gen consoles, computers, Xbox, PlayStation.
I have a computer.
It's not coming to Switch because it's too much for it to handle. But I would love to have it on the Switch.
Okay.
Wait, you didn't say something you liked from this week?
Yeah, that's what I was about. I picked up my thing. Squid Game started. There it is.
Oh shit! Did it really?
Yeah, we watched the first two. They delve a little bit. There's a lot of characters that I think talk back to the first series, which I don't remember all the weird character stuff. So there's definitely some character stuff that you're like, who is this? What's happening?
So I should probably rewatch the first season before we do the second one.
I mean, at least the parts where he's out in the world and you need to know who everybody is, because there's definitely a lot of stuff, but they just do interesting things on the show that you're just, they do stuff that is surprising. You're just like, what's happening? Wow.
Yeah,
okay. We walk in a room and we see something. And I'm like, I did not expect someone to walk into a room and this is what I'm presented with, and just, there's a lot of things like that just surprise you. And, like Venom, there's nothing in Venom that surprised you. You're like, oh, here comes a big battle. I can check out for 25 minutes.
Are you sure? I'm willing to bet that the gambling scene surprised you, Dan.
It did surprise me.
You weren't looking for it. You didn't see it. You didn't see it coming. You had no idea.
It was so weird. And not in a good way, but maybe in a good way. I don't know. Not in a good filmmaking way.
What is this feeling? Yeah, I love it.
Lady Luck is a horrible slut.
I can't believe I didn't remember that line. That's good. There's some great stuff. Great stuff, some terrible stuff.
Hey,
fun movie.
If a kid watches a movie and gets a stupid line out of it and says that line the rest of their life, your movie is successful.
Amen to that.
It's not good.
It took them 3 tries, but they finally did it.
It's not a good movie, but it's successful at least.
No, not good at all.
Tony, give us something to watch next time.
Yes. All right. Well, this is a combo effort. We got an email that had a list of movies, and one of the movies has been on my list since day one, and I just never pick it. So I was like, we're going to start 2025 on the right foot and start going through my backlog list of movies. This is, of course, 1994's Milk Money, which is a movie I've been looking forward to for a long time.
I knew you were picking Milk Money. Do you know what this movie
one of those
is?
Movies that, I know what this movie is. Do you know what this movie is?
I believe this is a movie about Melanie Griffith's breasts.
Well, I don't. Oh, it's not about there, but they're I would say prominently displayed in the movie.
It's about a woman who spends a movie lactating, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, sort of. Yeah, you're excited. You're gonna get into this. You're gonna have a great time with us.
Well, I will tell you this: the movie I'm picking next week is from 1992, so from the same list.
So she's a prostitute, Dan.
Oh, and a child hires her so that he can taste mother's milk again, or something weird.
No, milk. It's not about lactation, Dan. It's just about seeing the naked female form.
Oh, it's one of those movies.
And then I think they try to hook her up with his dad. It's something I don't totally remember. It's been a long time, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
Oh, it's a sex comedy from the past. Tony's dream.
These are my favorite movies. They always knock it out of the park.
Oh, yeah. Knock it out of the park.
I was going to say hit it on the head, but I thought that was too on the nose.
Well, don't hit it on the head with a hammer. So we'll be back talking about that. If you like what we do, give us a like or a subscribe or leave a comment. Like I say, we just picked somebody sent us movies. We did one, and then we're going to do another one the week after that. So
unbelievable. I mean, how lucky are they? So you could be one of the lucky ones.
And this is going to be a shorter episode. I knew this was going to be a shorter episode.
See, we got in and out in time for you not to get yelled at. You're going to make it to the mailbox. It's going to be great.
Yes, it's going to be exciting.
That's the word. Yeah, the mailbox house.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.
Goodbye, everyone.
Hey, watch it!